Hello and welcome. My name is Victor and I would like to talk about the Laureate network server today. So Laureate is the LoRa network server. It allows adding gateways and devices, and also it's capable of feeding the data into external places by using HTTP or MQTT push and many more. Laureate as the network server can be spread into two parts. First one is networks and the second one is applications. So into networks we're adding the gateways, and into applications we're adding the devices themselves. So we can start today with networks. So first of all, if we want to add the new gateway into our network, we first of all need to create the network itself. I've got a couple of them created, but for the purpose of this video I can create a new one. So on the main screen, once you logged in, you can click on create new network. You can give it a name. Let's call it test. You can tick the box organization user access that allows other users in your organization accessing this network. So we in most cases want to click this box and just create a network. Once we got this done, we've got an overview of all our networks. So let's move into it by clicking on the name. When we got the network created, now we can add the gateway into it. So to do that, we need to click on Add Gateway button on the right hand side, and then scroll down and find our gateway that we want to add. My gateway is currently a femtocell. So I can see there are two versions of those. Mine is running on firmware 4.3.3, I believe, so I'm gonna choose this one. Now I'm gonna scroll down from here and I need to put the MAC address of it. The MAC address of the gateway can be found on the gateway itself or in the web interface. So once we got this, we can paste it here. In my case it will be this one. Now once we got this put in the box, let's scroll down to the very bottom and click register calling gateway. Once we got that done, all we need to do now is to set the packet forwarder so the gateway knows that it needs to talk to this very server. So on the left hand side we can go to software tab, and we will need to run those 4 lines of code in the gateway itself. So to do that we need to SSH into the gateway. So let's open the terminal. In the terminal, to SSH into the gateway we need to type SSH root at IP address of our gateway. So in my case it is 192.168.5.66, and then hit enter. Now we need to put a password. For Carolyn gateways, the standard password starts with PDMK minus and then the 6 last digits of port ID of the gateway. Then once we're in, we just copying and pasting the commands from the software screen from Laureate. So starting with cd, then wget command, then chmod, and then /laureate install. So we need to give it a minute so it can install, and then we can type reboot to restart the gateway. So the gateway now is going to reboot itself, and after the reboot it should appear on the Laureate network server. So let's give it a couple of minutes. You can go back to the overview page, which is the very top icon, and it should appear in a couple of seconds in here as connected. Just let's refresh the page a couple of times and it should appear right like that. Okay, so after the gateway finished rebooting itself, you can see it's now connected. We can check if it's online by pinging into the gateway, so let's click ping. There we go, the gateway has been successfully pinged, so we can tell it is online. Under details section you can see there are a couple of different information that you might be interested in. So there is the MAC address of the gateway. There's also the EUI number. Under network details, you know this is the IP address it is connected into. And you can see it's talking to alia.loriote.io server. Okay, on the left hand side we've got a couple of different tabs to go through. You've got devices activity, so you can click here. This will be the screen where once the packets are going through the gateway, you can see them here. You've got a couple of tabs, you can sort them by month, by last hour, etc. Traffic section might be useful as well. This can actually count the number of frames, so that's the number of packets themselves that are going through the gateway. You can also filter it by monthly, daily, or the last 24 hours. It is empty right now because it's just been added to the server, so okay, it's not here. Nothing came through the gateway yet. Right, another interesting screen that might be helpful. It is the log screen, so you can see what is happening with the gateway. There's like a couple of different logs. Well, nothing yet really useful because it has been added to the server. And alerts. You can set up the alerts to monitor the gateway itself. I can see if there are any alerts in the table down below. Okay, this is about the gateways section of the server itself. So we can go back to the main screen now by clicking the Laureate icon in the left top corner. And now we can move into the applications and the devices themselves. So to add the device to the server, it first needs to be added to the application. So you need to create the application. You can do it by clicking Create New Application button. Then, similarly as with gateways, you can enable an access to different users of your organization by clicking this Enabled box. You need to type the name of the application, so let's call it Test. You can set the device capacity. I'm gonna leave it as 10 for now, and then let's click Create. And this is the application that we created. So now we need to enroll the devices into the application. So we're gonna need to choose the Enroll Device option here. And now, based on the device you got, you need to choose the LoRaWAN version. It's usually 1.0.x. We need to put the name of the device. So let's call it Test Device, for example. And then the most crucial part of this is the keys of the device. So every LoRa device has their unique keys. So the dev UI, the join UI, and the application key. Those are unique for all the sensors, so please check with your supplier. You should have those keys after the purchase. You should receive them. So for the testing purposes, I'm just going to add the random device. So once you got those done, click Enroll, and you can see that the device has been successfully enrolled. So it automatically moved into the overview of the device page, but you can also go back to your application and then click on Devices tab. It will show the list of the devices. You can click on the blue font, which is Device UI, and then you move to the same very screen. So in here, once the device is on, you can see when it has been last seen in the network server. Here on the right hand side, under latest data, you can see the latest messages, the latest records. All of those would be the coded version, the raw data of the sensor that will need to be decoded in the external place. On the left hand side, you can see devices information such as UI or join UI. You can also see the gateways that are in range. so you can see to which gateway the device is talking or where was sent the latest message. From this screen also you can send the downlink to the device. So you clicked on this cog icon and send downlink button. The pop-up window will show, and here you can type the port of the device. So that's the port of the downlink message that it needs to be sent to the device itself. That varies over the different sensors, different manufacturers. So check the manual. You can set the priority. 3 is the highest, 0 is the lowest. If you want the downlink to be acknowledged, you can click request confirmation. That will pretty much send the acknowledgement once it's been received by the device. And the payload message you can paste or type in the payload box. Just keep in mind that it needs to be in hexadecimal format. And then once you get that done, you click send to device. So let's do this, for example. And you can see the downlink has been queued for now. And once the device send the next message into the server, it will automatically obtain this downlink and change it, for example, change its configuration or the uplink time or whatever downlink you queued. It will be applied to the sensor. If you done something wrong in here, don't worry, you can always clear the queue. So click clear queue button and accept. That will delete your entry and the device won't receive this message. If it received some wrong message, you can always send another downlink with the correct setting. Then with the next uplink message, it will obtain the new downlink and change the setting again. Okay, so this is about the device itself. You can go back to devices. Another useful place in here, I would say, is output. So select output from the left hand side menu, and from here you can click add new output and you can select where the data from the server can be pushed. So you can use, for example, HTTP and send it somewhere. Just follow the steps from setup parameters. You can select MQTT push, or select something else. If you, for example, want to push it to AWS, here is the step guide, what you need to do step by step. Also Azure. So just follow those and you can push data from here to pretty much anywhere you want. And another place that you can have a look is also the log. I'd say this is quite useful as well, because this shows what is happening with the devices in the application. So I can see there's an event created, which is device create event. So that basically tell me that something has been done to the application, and in this very case, the device has been added to the server. When we get some problems with the device, or you want to monitor if it behaves correct, you can go to log and see if there's anything wrong with it. You've got a couple of different colors in here, so the events will be colored. If there are errors, there will be purple. There are critical errors, that will be red. Some minor notices, that's yellow or blue. So those would appear here. You can always filter by date and time if you want. Just select whatever you want here and then click search. You can also search by dev UI in the application log, so you just type dev UI in here and then hit search. That's quite useful if you've got plenty of devices. You just want to see the log from this particular device. You type the dev UI here, click search, and it will show basically all the events that was for this very device. I believe you might be also interested for monitoring purposes to have a look in statistics. So this basically showcase all the traffic, what's going on in the server. You can You've got a messages counter as well, so you get multiple devices. You can see how many downlinks or uplinks have been sent over the period of time. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I believe that was helpful for you. It's not really complicated, I would say. It's just a matter of getting familiar with it. So if you got any troubles, you can reach us on LORIOT. We will be always happy to help you. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I see you around.